Hi, my name is Alicia Culver. I'm the director of the Responsible Purchasing Network in the United States, and I'm coming to you today from Oakland, California. Thanks for inviting me, and best of luck for a productive and enjoyable sustainability conference. I first would like to address the question of sustainable trends in procurement in the United States. I'm going to focus on 10 trends and give them to you David Letterman style. So here we go. Number 10, we're seeing an adoption of broad sustainable procurement policies in the United States, whereas policies in the past had focused very narrowly often on recycled content purchasing or purchasing of energy efficient products only. We're now seeing increased number of government agencies and businesses that are adopting broad sustainability goals and procurement policies to go along with them. And these policies address environmental sustainability as well as social responsibility and economic sustainability. Number 9, we're seeing a focus on environmental products that save money, with many government agencies here in the United States facing fiscal issues. There is an increased importance on products that have the opportunity to save energy, save water, and in other ways save money. And that can be anything from products that have a lower upfront cost, such as remanufactured toner and ink cartridges, to products that have long-term savings, such as water conservation devices. Number 8, we're seeing a focus on the increased use of eco-labels. Again, because government agencies don't have the staffing resources and in many cases the expertise to be able to sort through all of the environmental claims, and we don't have a central system in the government for eco-labels. We are seeing an increased number of eco-labels. Fortunately, many of them are independent third-party eco-labels with transparent standards that we can evaluate, and they're multi-attribute, which means that the wide range of environmental and health issues are addressed in the standards. And often is the case also that there's an inclusion of performance requirements that are needed to be met in order to meet the standard, and then ongoing verification, which is also very important. Number 7, we are seeing an increase in interest in products that actually will result in climate benefits. This is linked to the cost savings, but with many government agencies deciding to take climate protection into their own hands, we're seeing an effort to focus on those products that are going to result in measurable greenhouse gas reductions. And so that's, again, anything from energy efficient lighting equipment and office supplies to renewable energy as well. Number 6, we're seeing a significant focus on toxics reduction benefits of products, and with many products containing ingredients that can cause cancer or asthma, other serious health and environmental impacts, there is an increased interest in eliminating those products and finding safer replacements. In some cases, that's through the use of certifications for low-emitting products or low-toxicity products. In other cases, it's through requirements that vendors and manufacturers disclose the environmental hazards as well as the environmental benefits of their products. Number 5, we're seeing a tremendous interest in green purchasing through the green building certification efforts. So in the United States, through the U.S. Green Building Council's Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design program, there is an increased interest in buildings that are not undergoing construction or renovation to get their buildings certified for their operations. And as part of that, they get credit towards their certification for buying products that are considered sustainable consumables. So that could be recycled paper, or water conservation devices, energy efficient equipment, and a broad range of products that meet specific environmental criteria. Number 4, we are seeing an increased interest in government agencies that are looking at the packaging that the products are being shipped in. It doesn't make a lot of sense to get a environmentally responsible product shipped in polystyrene or some kind of other difficult to recycle material. And so some government agencies are getting together and restricting certain types of unsustainable packaging or requiring sustainable packaging to be used in the products that they're receiving. Number 3, we are seeing an increased interest in producer responsibility being incorporated into contracting, which means that if companies sell a government agency a product, they then are required to take the product back and recycle it or properly dispose of it. We don't have a system like you do in the EU under the Waste and Electronic directive that requires all manufacturers to take back products. And so this is an effort to stimulate that producer responsibility through the contracting process. Number 2, related to that, we're seeing a focus on sustainable transportation. Doesn't make sense to get a green product and have it shipped from halfway around the world, or have it airlifted overnight delivery where there's significant environmental consequences. And so there are efforts through certifications and incentives to try to reduce the transportation impacts, also through the purchase of locally manufactured products to reduce the transportation footprint of those products. And finally, number 1, we're seeing increased references to the European Union's directives, to the really fabulous work that you all are doing in Europe in an effort to make those standards a globally harmonized standard. So, for example, the European Union's directive on the restriction of hazardous substances will often be put into bid specifications to make sure that the products that we're getting are compliant with that ROS directive or with some of the requirements under the REACH program. So really great work out there. We're looking forward to collaborating with you. Thanks again for having me. The first thing is through the use of policies. We're seeing an increased number of policies, and the policies, as I mentioned earlier, being broad sustainability policies as well as sustainable procurement as a mechanism to help meet other sustainability goals. Policies are really important in order to change the culture because it shows top-level support. It also often establishes goals that employees can work towards, whether it's reduction in energy, water, paper, or a number of other sustainability goals. And importantly, it establishes often an institutional setup, such as a green team, where employees can really plug in and get involved. So that's a very important aspect of promoting the culture of sustainability. The other thing that it does is it establishes often a process for planning and prioritization. There are lots of opportunities for green purchasing, but some are more important than the others because they can have a greater impact, and others are frankly easier, either because there are existing certifications or other standards out there that can be readily utilized, and there's a lot of successes. One of the important things that large institutions, particularly public facilities, can do to promote a culture of sustainability is to lead by example. There are a number of efforts by government agencies to encourage businesses to become more sustainable, and they just have more experience and more credibility if they're doing it themselves. A lot of people come to public facilities and they might see compostable food serviceware, or they might see a demonstration of some new technology, and that can encourage them to implement that in their business or in their homes. Websites obviously are being used more and more for promoting sustainable technologies and practices. And we're seeing lots and lots of best practices guides, as well as tools that are needed for people to, and businesses and government agencies to implement sustainable practices. So this can be model specifications, calculators that you can use to document your benefits, and impacts, and other resources. Along the same lines, it's an important function for programs to do tracking and reporting. And that's a way for a government agency to show that their efforts actually had a benefit either to the environment, to public health, or from an economic standpoint, a cost savings in particular. And one way to start to really have an impact up the supply chain is to require vendors to do a better job, either at labeling their products, make sure they're not greenwashing, and also to help track and report the number of green products they sell, and make sure that their green products are very clearly identified so that consumers that want to purchase green products can more easily do that. Certification of green businesses is another strategy that's being used, particularly when it's paired with procurement. So a business can be given a benefit in the purchasing arena if they actually are a certified green business or a certified disadvantaged business. All of these are important to encourage those businesses to be able to make sure that they're improving their environmental footprint as well. It's really important to make sure that you recognize and award the champions. There are champions in almost every facility, and a lot of times they work very hard, and to be able to reward them can also encourage others to get involved as well. Competitions also can be fun and can help to promote the sort of culture of sustainability within an institution. I think it's very important for organizations to share information. If people are doing this on their own, any kind of sustainability initiatives, it can take a lot of time. And so there's no reason to recreate the wheel. There's lots of resources out there that can help disseminate information. We're a network of state and local governments and businesses that all are working together to try to promote best practices with sustainable purchasing and sustainability overall. We put together lots of resources. Here's one, our guide to environmentally preferable fluorescent lighting. We do webinars almost every month for our members on some new topic, and really just try to share information about what's out there so that everybody isn't struggling to do this on their own. And finally, as part of that, cooperative purchasing can really be an effective strategy to make this easier. The ultimate focus that's probably among the most important is on the schools, and to make sure that children are learning at an early age why it's important to promote environmental stewardship in particular. And as the students get older, it's important for them to understand how they can incorporate best practices into their daily lives. Often the kids will go home and share that information with their parents. I know that because I have a 9-year-old around who often is reminding me of various different things. And as they get older, and making sure that there are available training programs and curricula at the university level, really, really important. I've been to a number of conferences, and they're some of the most inspiring conferences to see all the students involved at the college and university level. It gives me a lot of hope for the future. I'm not sure really that anyone knows truly how we can create a sustainable world, especially with a growing population, with dwindling natural resources, with already degraded ecosystems, and of course, climate impacts that are becoming more and more evident. But we do see institutional purchasing and other sustainability policies as an important driver toward to get us on the path towards sustainability. I think it's something that you always strive for. I'm not sure you ever really get there. Um, at RPN, we support and believe in the three pillars of sustainability: environmental sustainability and environmental stewardship, which is not just the external environment, but the internal environment, and really includes impacts on people as well as ecosystems. We also obviously support social responsibility as well, which includes ethical sourcing, fair trade, and making sure that if we're accessing products from other countries, or I guess even within our own country, that they're not made in sweatshops. And finally, we support economic sustainability. And I think this is a little bit harder for people to get their head around what that actually means. But I think about it as fairness and supporting an economy that is fair and supportive, particularly in a regional context. When you think about sustainability, you can think about the economy as a whole, and you also can think about individual products. We tend to think a lot about products, so I'll talk a little bit about that. Um, Obviously, when you think about products, we want to think in terms of sustainability about how products are manufactured, how they're used, how they're transported, packaged, and how they are ending up being handled at the end of their life. All of those systems need to be looked at and addressed in order to get us to a place where products are truly sustainable. I often talk to various different jurisdictions about sustainability, and one of the conversations we have is to get them to think about what products are obviously unsustainable. What do you look at? What kind of really speaks to you in terms of something being unsustainable in some way? And so, what people often say is you'll hear that the product is wasteful. I use the term rapidly disposable. You can think about batteries that you're just chewing through, or paper towels, or other things that you're just using over and over again, or bottled water that's you're going through so many that it's just obvious to you that that is not a sustainable system. Also, another obvious attribute of products that would make them unsustainable is that they are highly toxic. And toxic chemicals, particularly when there's direct exposure in with green cleaning products, floor strippers, disinfectants, many different types of products where our custodial employees are on the front lines of handling these things for often 8 hours a day. They need to be protected when they're working and under our care and under our employment. And so it's important for us to protect them against these unsustainable products. Highly wasteful in terms from an energy perspective or a water perspective, and or using products, non-duplexing printers that use tons of paper. So just thinking about the product's operation. And then, of course, looking at a product and realizing, wow, what do I do with this thing when I'm done with it? In particular, if it contains hazardous materials, wanting to make sure that that product can easily be recycled at the end of its life. Um, when we think about purchasing, um, we often don't use the word sustainable because, again, I'm not sure that people really know what a truly sustainable product is. It would have to be very carefully designed. As I'm thinking, like a water filter goes a long way in replacing bottled water, but it would have to be designed properly to be completely sustainable. But what we do look at is how do we get products that are clearly environmentally, socially, and economically preferable to the products that we're using now. And if we keep moving in the positive direction, and not slowly, but with real forethought about what is achievable, something that is ambitious but not draconian, something that's achievable. We don't want to set the bar too high, or we won't be able to achieve it. We don't want to set it too low, otherwise our work will be meaningless. So we really want to try to find that middle ground. We can look at products. We want to make sure that all aspects of sustainability are addressed. And so paper, you can look at recycled content, sustainable production of any virgin fibers, safely manufactured, chlorine-free bleaching, and also how do we reduce paper. So we can look at paper in a context to try to figure out how do we make the purchase of paper sustainable in its own right. And I would be remiss if I didn't discuss food. Talking to a conference in Italy, food is a really growing area of interest in terms of sustainability because it has some of the most significant environmental impacts. To make it sustainable, there are efforts to make it locally sourced, sustainably grown, fresh, healthy, delicious, so that it's not wasted, ethically sourced, fairly traded. So you can look at any of these product categories and think about how you can make those product categories more sustainable. Um, what I think is really important is that overall in the economy there need to be important economic drivers so that sustainable products are rewarded. And I'd like to just end by saying that when we're looking at the economy, there really is one truly non-renewable resource, and that's time. And so we need to create an economy that enables us to be able to thrive, be healthy, be happy, spend time with our friends and family. Our motto is more fun, less stuff. So thank you very much, and good luck with your conference. Bye.